6 Pointers to Overcome Social Anxiety, posted on October 1st, 2011. Social anxiety is a big challenge for many people. My definition of social anxiety will be the presence of anxiousness, fear in a human mind when it's subject to a situation where it has to communicate with other people or be around them. Social anxiety may cause you to be reserved, shy, or introverted out of the fear of interacting with people. It's important to clarify, however, that there are some people who like being reserved or introverted, and it's a part of their personality which they feel aligned with. Such people are not being introverted out of fear, but out of choice. They wouldn't feel anxious about interacting with others, but they just prefer being introverted as a personal preference. You need to be honest within yourself to know if you're being introverted as a choice or out of fear. If you're shying away from human interaction out of anxiousness or fear of talking to other people or being around them, then it's a case of having social anxiety. You can overcome it to allow an inner growth or expansion in you and to live out certain desired experiences that you wish for by understanding the core issues at the bottom of it and thus releasing it. What causes social anxiety? At the root of social anxiety are two interrelated issues. They are as follows. Number 1, you don't know who you are as a human being and are thus unaware of your individuality. And number 2, you're not comfortable accepting yourself the way you are. In other words, you're not accepting your individual personality the way it is. Any person who is aware of his or her individuality and is comfortable with it would never feel anxious in any social situation. When you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, you will always feel anxious around other people because you will be constantly worried about creating an impression, meeting expectations, trying to act differently, putting on pretenses, judging yourself, and seeking approval. This is what social anxiety is all about, a fear of being put down by others. And the only reason this fear is ever present is when you're not comfortable with who you are and are thus affected by the opinions of others. Being comfortable with who you are. Some people talk fast. Some people talk slow. Some people are sharp, humorous, and witty, while some people are flat and serious. Some people smile or laugh a lot. Some people prefer being grim or straight-faced. Some people are loud and voluble. Some people prefer being mellow and crisp. Some people are good at debates. Some prefer to keep away from debates. Some people are very fluent with words. Some are less fluent. These are all different dynamics of human personality, and it influences the way you communicate with others. There is no right or wrong way to be. What's important is that you be yourself and not feel anything negative about being who you are. There are things you can improve about your communication, but nothing is more important than being totally comfortable with who you are as you are. The first step to becoming comfortable with yourself is to start identifying who you really are as a person. A lot of people move through their lives without ever taking the time to connect with who they really are, and thus they are undecided and conflicted about many things in their life. Almost all your indecisions or conflicts stem from not really knowing who you are as a person, and thus being misaligned with yourself. Social anxiety is just one such conflict that you feel because you're not aligned within. So the one secret to overcoming social anxiety is to become aligned with yourself by knowing and accepting yourself as you are. Let's look into this in further details. Self-alignment and self-knowing. It doesn't matter who you were in the past. What matters is who you are now. What is your present personality or your present individuality? That's the question you need to ask and then connect with yourself with a deep awareness to find out who you really are as a person. There are many layers of misperceptions, negative conditioning, and conflicts that you need to dig through to really find yourself. A few pointers that can help in this process of self-knowing and alignment with yourself are as below. Number 1, you define what is right for you. Let go of all judgments about what is the right way to be. All these judgments have been learnt from other people, and they are not your own. Don't accept anyone's definition of what's the right way to be. Instead, allow your own resonance to be the criteria for what is right for you. Don't allow someone to dictate the commandments of how you should be. Let go of trying to be someone you're not just to fit into someone else's model of what is right. Number 2, don't feel guilty for being who you are. Let go of any guilt or shame that you associate with any natural behavior or drive that is present in you. People have a lot of hang-ups about their sexuality, eccentricities, quirks, kinks, passions, drives, etc., because they feel there is something wrong with them for having these inclinations. If it's something that feels natural to you, then it's just the way you are. It's your individuality. Stop judging yourself for it and appreciate and accept yourself fully in this aspect. Any guilt or shame that you feel within yourself will stand out in your vibration when you talk to other people, and they will catch upon it as a negative vibration in you. Number 3, be comfortable with the way you look. Align with your physical appearance fully. Let go of associating hatred or resentment about how you look. So many people have deep inferiority complexes about how they look, and thus feel anger towards themselves and keep distance from others from the fear of being judged. Always remember that beauty always lies in the eyes of the beholder, and there is no real standard of beauty out there. When you're aligned with the way you look, you will notice that people are automatically attracted to you just the way you are. Number 4, let go of the need to pretend in front of people. It's common that as a kid, you're asked to behave in a certain way around people and were reprimanded whenever you chose to just be yourself. This caused you to develop the pattern of acting out in a certain way in front of people. Maybe you smile a lot when you don't feel like smiling. You keep nodding your head to be polite. You go out of your way to try to please someone or try to put on a nice guy act. All these are just pretenses because you're making an effort to do this to seek approval. Be who you are. If you're naturally a smiling person, then be smiling. But if you're naturally a grim person, then just be grim. Don't try to act for others' approval. When you're being yourself, if someone takes offense, it's purely their problem or hang-up, not yours. Number 5, learn from what offends you. If you feel offended by something someone said about you, it just means that you already felt critical about that aspect in you. A simple truth is that you cannot feel offended about something you don't feel critical about in yourself. For example, a tall guy would never feel insulted if he was called a shorty because he knows he's tall. Only a short guy who feels self-critical about being short would feel offended if someone insinuated a negative comment about his height. The issue is not that someone made a negative comment. The issue is that you're not comfortable with an aspect of you and thus took offense. When you're comfortable about all aspects of who you are, you would never feel offended by what others say about you. Number 6, take the time to connect with yourself. We surround ourselves with so many distractions that we hardly ever allow the time to introspect or go within, to really connect with who we are as a person. One needs to develop the power of awareness to really go within and understand one's inner space of being. When you start connecting with yourself, you will automatically start disidentifying with all the patterns and beliefs in your mind that are not congruent with who you are. This clears up the presence of conflicts within you, and you become more aligned with your individuality. This allows for the manifestation of realities that feel congruent with who you are. This is what success is all about. Concluding words. When you're aligned with yourself, you will not feel fear of the opinions or judgments of other people, and hence there will be no anxiety in you towards social interaction. People have the right to their opinions or perspectives, behaviors, and points of view, and it's up to you, your responsibility, to align with yourself and not to expect someone else to behave differently for you to feel good. When you're aligned with yourself, you're deeply comfortable being who you are and thus feel no negative judgment about yourself. This state of being allows you to be comfortable in any social situation and thus causes you to overcome social anxiety fully.